Have you ever felt like you carry something different? As if your eyes see things others ignore. As if through your gaze, there's a kind of portal. A path to something much greater. If you feel this, you might be one of the chosen. In the Bible, the eyes represent vision, discernment, revelation, and spirit. Jesus himself said, "The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light." Matthew 6:22. This means that the eyes carry a direct connection to the spirit, and among the chosen, there are signs that appear in the eyes, visible or spiritually perceptible signs, which indicate that a divine awakening is taking place. This awakening may come as a mission, a revelation, or a radical life transformation. And for those who are attentive, the eyes speak even before the mouth. These signs are not literal in a clinical sense. They are expressions of the Spirit through the eyes. And those who live in communion with heaven can sense when something is being activated. This content is not for the curious. It's for those who feel that something inside them is being awakened. For those who have already noticed that their eyes have become more sensitive, that they see the invisible, that they carry a weight in their gaze. That weight is called prophetic responsibility. Throughout this content, you will discover the 7 warning signs that manifest in the eyes of the chosen. And by identifying them, you'll understand that you're not going crazy, strange, or out of step. You're actually entering God's timing for your life. Now follow the channel and stay alert. Watch with your heart, because these signs can no longer be ignored. Sign 1. Eyes that cry without reason. The cry of the Spirit. It's common for the chosen to begin to feel a different kind of emotion in their eyes. Tears appear without any apparent explanation. It may happen during a soft song, a moment of silence, or a simple word. There is no visible pain, no concrete reason, but the heart seems to be screaming on the inside, and the eyes respond. This crying is not weakness nor emotional neediness. It is a deep sign that something is being touched in the spirit. Many think they are becoming too sensitive or overreacting, but that's not it. What's happening is that the spiritual heart is being awakened. The soul is reacting to the nearness of a calling. In the Bible, Jesus wept at significant moments. He wept over Jerusalem, lamenting the people's lack of spiritual understanding. He wept for Lazarus, even knowing he would raise him. He wept in Gethsemane, in deep agony. This shows that tears are a language that connects heaven and earth. They are not weakness, they are sensitivity. When God begins to awaken the prophetic in someone's life, He first needs to break the barriers of the heart. A hardened heart cannot discern the voice of God. That's why tears are the beginning of a refining process. It's as if He is saying, "I need you to feel, so that you can then see." Many people report feeling the urge to cry out of nowhere, especially when they're in worship settings or alone. Sometimes, it's as if the soul is remembering something it can't yet explain. It is in this moment that the Spirit begins to align with the purpose God planted since the womb. This crying is different from ordinary sadness. It's quieter, deeper. It's a type of prayer that doesn't need words. It's as if the eyes are speaking to God, and He understands. He sees every tear and responds with comfort, presence, and revelation. Tears become spiritual seeds. Many of the chosen, when going through this process, wonder if something is wrong with them. But in reality, something very right is happening. They are being prepared. They are being cleansed, tuned, trained to perceive the invisible. The tears wash the spiritual eyes so they can see beyond the natural. Don't fight this. Don't be ashamed for feeling too much. This sensitivity is a gift, not a flaw. You are being shaped. You are becoming a living voice of intercession. Every tear that falls carries spiritual weight. They are not weakness. They are prophetic. They are connected to the mission God entrusted to you. When you notice your eyes filling with tears without explanation, pause and listen. Something is being poured out from heaven. It may be compassion for someone, a word you haven't understood yet, or simply the presence of God surrounding you. The Spirit knows before the mind, and it speaks first through the eyes. Continue in this process. The more you allow your spirit to express itself, the sharper and more sensitive it will become. The crying of the chosen is the beginning of a journey where heaven meets earth within the heart. You are not alone. Many are living this awakening too, and the eyes are the first to feel it. Sign 2. Eyes that avoid lies. Truth makes them uncomfortable. There are people who, upon hearing something false, immediately feel an uneasiness they can't explain. They can't look into the eyes of someone who's lying. Sometimes they look away, other times they stare firmly. But inside, something is stirring. It's as if their very spirit wants to leave the room. This is more common than it seems among the chosen. This discomfort is not arrogance or judgment. It is a spiritual reaction from someone who has been set apart to love the truth. It's as if the whole body wants to respond, but the eyes are the first to express that discomfort. Even when the lie seems harmless, the eyes of the chosen already detect that something is wrong. Many people misunderstand this behavior and confuse it with aloofness or shyness. But that's not it. It's discernment. It's the Spirit warning that that word, that environment, or that intention is not aligned with God's truth. The gaze becomes sad, dimmed, or withdrawn, not out of judgment, but for protection. In the Bible, Jeremiah suffered deeply from seeing lies being preached as if they were truth. The false prophets of his time proclaimed what God had not said. This pained Jeremiah. He couldn't bear it. The same thing happens today with many of the chosen. The Spirit does not grow accustomed to what wounds the truth. This sign begins to manifest early. You overhear a conversation and already sense something is off. Even if everyone around seems convinced, you feel something is hidden. The eyes become like spiritual filters. They reject what doesn't align with heaven, even if they can't explain exactly why. It's also common for the brightness in the eyes to change in these moments. When there is truth, the eyes shine, open up, and transmit peace. When there is a lie, they dim, look away, lose focus. This is more than body language. It's a spiritual response to the atmosphere around. It's like an activated sensor. This discomfort should not be ignored. It is a tool of protection that God has given you. He set you apart to walk in truth, to recognize falsehood, and not to mingle with it. Sometimes, this will distance you from certain people, but it will also bring you closer to places where the truth is honored. You are not being too sensitive. You are being trained. God is aligning your perception with heaven. You are learning to discern not only what is said, but what lies behind the words. And that discernment begins in the eyes, which are mirrors of the soul and portals of the Spirit. When you feel that discomfort again, remember, you are not alone. Other chosen ones experience this too. Trust your perception. It was given to protect you and also to position you as light in the midst of darkness. Eyes that love the truth are always instruments of revelation. You are called to see with clarity and to never grow accustomed to lies, even if the whole world accepts them. Your vision has been trained for something greater, and it all begins with the eyes. Sign 3. Eyes that see beyond the natural, the gift of vision in activation. Some people look around and see only what is visible. Others, however, begin to perceive details invisible to ordinary eyes. They see sudden lights, figures passing quickly, unexplained shadows, or a kind of glow in the atmosphere. This is one of the deepest signs among the chosen, the gift of vision being activated. This spiritual gift allows you to see beyond what is in front of you. Sometimes, it's just a sensation when looking at someone. Something in their gaze disturbs or catches your attention, even if they're smiling. You don't know why, but you sense it. This perception is a type of spiritual reading that begins to form. The Bible shows moments where spiritual eyes were opened. Elisha, for example, prayed that his servant might see what he already saw, an army of angels surrounding them. To natural eyes, there was only danger, but to the eyes of the Spirit, there was protection. This teaches us that there is a parallel spiritual reality that not everyone can access. The chosen who receive this gift must treat it with responsibility. It's not a game. It's not for showing off. It's a resource for intercession, warning, and wisdom. You may sense when someone is in deep pain, even if they're smiling. You may see when an environment is heavy, even if it's silent. The vision is spiritual, not emotional. Some testimonies speak of flashes of light during prayer. Others say they see something passing at the corner of their eye, like a shadow that quickly vanishes. These signs should not be ignored. The closer you draw to God in prayer and consecration, the clearer this gift becomes. It grows with maturity and intimacy. If you identify with this, do not be afraid. This visual awakening is part of your calling. You are set apart to see what others cannot. This may position you as an intercessor, a spiritual warrior, a counselor, or someone who protects others with discernment. Your vision is a tool that heaven has entrusted to you. It is common that over time you learn to trust this gaze. Sometimes you will sense something in someone and not know why, but you'll know you need to pray. Don't try to understand everything with your mind. The Spirit understands first, and many times the eyes feel before the heart comprehends. Vision precedes revelation. Some places will feel heavy to you, even though nothing seems to be happening there. That too is part of the gift. The environment carries spiritual atmospheres, and your eyes begin to perceive it. They become like sensors. Don't ignore what you perceive. It's God showing you something that needs to be discerned, prayed over, or avoided. The more you surrender to this sensitivity, the more the gift develops. But remember, the goal is never to impress. It is to protect, intercede, and guide with love. You are being tuned for a reality that goes beyond the physical. Your eyes are being trained to see with the Spirit, and that is powerful. Sign 4. Eyes that shine or dim. According to the environment. There are moments when a person's gaze seems to light up. It transmits peace, light, life. In other situations, that same gaze dims, loses its glow, becomes dull. Those who are spiritually chosen go through these changes frequently, even without realizing it. Their eyes adapt to the spiritual environment they're in. In the Bible, when Moses came down from the mountain after being with God, his face was radiant. The brightness of God's glory was visible. Today, though we don't see it with the same physical intensity, this principle still holds true. The chosen carry the presence of the Spirit, and the eyes reveal it subtly, yet truly. On the other hand, when an environment is spiritually heavy, or when the chosen drift from their intimacy with God, the eyes also reflect this. They become dull, without shine, as if tired of something they can't explain. This is a spiritual warning sign. The glow has disappeared because something internal needs attention. The eyes are spiritual thermometers. They indicate when something is right and when something needs to be aligned. If you feel that your gaze has lost its spark, it may be time to reconnect with your source. It's not just physical tiredness. It's a lack of presence, of spiritual nourishment. The spirit also thirsts, and the eyes reveal it. This glow in the eyes is more than emotional expression. It is a reflection of what is being generated within. A heart full of faith, hope, and divine presence inevitably overflows through the eyes. That's why many times, even before speaking, people feel touched just by looking at you. The opposite is also true. In places where there is oppression, deceit, pride, or hidden sin, the eyes of the chosen feel the weight. They may become more closed, cautious, or even disconnected. Not because they are turned off, but because they are in spiritual alert mode. It's as if the whole body is protecting itself through the gaze. This kind of sensitivity is a gift. It allows you to perceive what many ignore. It serves as guidance, discernment, and also as a sign for others. When someone looks at you and sees your eyes shining, they may be receiving hope without realizing it. When they see your eyes dimmed, it may be a warning to return to the path. Use this as a tool for self-assessment and also for ministry. Observe your eyes often. They reveal a lot about how you are. And observe others' eyes. Many times they are asking for help without saying a word. The brightness of the eyes can be a bridge for healing and comfort. Your eyes were created to carry light. They are not just part of your face. They are beacons of the spirit. If they're dimmed, rekindle them with intimacy. If they're glowing, share that light with those in need. Because the eyes of the chosen were made to light the way in a world that lives in darkness. Sign 5. Eyes that disturb the system. Wherever they go, they cause confrontation. Many people don't understand why. When they enter a room, they feel eyes turning away, people becoming uncomfortable, or sudden silences. The chosen often carry a gaze that confronts, even without saying a single word. This happens because their eyes carry something the natural world cannot explain, but the spiritual realm knows very well: light. Jesus didn't need to raise his voice to confront. Many times, just a look, a firm presence, and hearts were shaken. He carried holiness in his eyes. The Pharisees felt exposed just by being in his presence. The same on a smaller scale happens with those who have been set apart by God to walk in truth. Maybe you've already noticed this happening. In a group conversation, everyone is laughing, but when you arrive, the subject changes. In a meeting, your eyes meet someone else's, and the person quickly looks away. This isn't about you. It's about what you carry. Your gaze represents a presence that breaks disguises. It's not easy to deal with this sign. At times, you may feel rejected, misunderstood, or even excluded. But don't take it personally. Understand that your spirit is carrying something that triggers reactions in others. And not everyone is ready to be seen beyond the masks. This gaze that disturbs is also a gaze that reveals. It has the power to touch where words can't reach. Many times, you don't even realize that you're being used by God. But just being there, present, is enough to start a confrontation between what is true and what is false. It's important not to hide because of this. Don't try to dim the light in your eyes to fit in. You weren't called to camouflage your essence. You were set apart to be light in the midst of darkness. And light, by its very nature, will always disturb what prefers to remain hidden. This sign also reveals spiritual authority. Your gaze has weight, has presence, has anointing. Demons notice. Heavy atmospheres notice. People who manipulate notice. And that's why there is resistance. But at the same time, this gaze also draws those who are seeking freedom. Because light may disturb, but it also guides. Sign 6. Eyes that attract confessions. People open up to you. There are people who carry something in their gaze that transmits safety. When someone approaches them, they feel the urge to speak, to open their heart, to share secrets kept for years. And often this happens within minutes, without really knowing the person, without planning it. This is not by chance. It's a sign that a special gift is at work. The chosen have this gaze that listens even before the mouth responds. It doesn't point fingers, but welcomes. It doesn't approve of sin, but doesn't reject the sinner. This creates an atmosphere of trust that few are able to offer. Anyone who meets that gaze feels, I can be real here. And that freedom brings confession, healing, and deliverance. Many times, you don't even understand why people open up so much to you. In lines, brief encounters, phone calls, social media, someone starts telling you their story, fears, traumas, doubts, even deep sins. You listen and think, why is this person telling me this? The answer lies in what you carry in your gaze. The gaze of the chosen carries spiritual authority but also mercy. It welcomes without allowing lies to remain. It touches without hurting. It confronts without condemning. This cannot be taught. It is a gift. It is something God places in the soul of those He has called to be instruments of listening and restoration. Jesus attracted this kind of approach. Even the religious leaders who criticized Him publicly sought Him out in secret. Nicodemus was one of them. The presence of Jesus, and likely His gaze, transmitted truth and grace. It was impossible to remain indifferent. And today, the Spirit continues to use the eyes of the chosen for that same purpose. If you found yourself in this position of an involuntary counselor, don't be surprised. You were called to listen. And listening in this case is a ministry. It's a healing mission. Because those who open up are set free. And those who listen with love plant seeds of transformation. This gift is no less than preaching or teaching. But it's important to know how to manage it. The gaze that welcomes must also be ready to intercede. When someone confides in you, don't treat it merely as a confidence. Treat it as a prayer request. Pray for that person afterward. Carry them in spirit. Because God entrusted you not just to listen, but to keep and intercede. This sign is also an invitation to be more sensitive to the pain of others. Not everyone who needs help will ask directly. Sometimes, their eyes search for help and find yours. That's why you must stay alert. Your gift of listening begins with your eyes, and that alone already transforms lives. Sign 7. Eyes that pray in silence. Invisible intercessors. There are moments when the mouth says nothing, but the Spirit cries out, and that silent cry is manifested through the eyes. The chosen, even in silence, pray. They are attentive to what others do not say. They perceive hidden sadness, disguised pain, and heavy burdens. And when their eyes detect those signs, something within begins to intercede. You may have experienced this. You looked at someone, and without thinking, your heart turned toward God. There were no words, just a glance toward heaven, like someone silently asking for help. This is pure prayer, made of sensitivity and compassion. It's the Spirit speaking directly to the Creator, without noise, without form, but with truth. This sign is a result of spiritual maturity. Prayer doesn't always require a closed room. Sometimes it's enough to be in a public place, aware of the people around you, and let your eyes do their part. They become channels of intercession, crying out for those who don't even know they need help. The eyes of the chosen are discreet but powerful. In a meeting, in a line, in a quiet room, they perceive the invisible. And while others simply pass by, the intercessors look and pray. They ask for healing, they ask for comfort, they ask for salvation. All of this happens without a sound, but heaven hears every unspoken request. Don't underestimate the power of this silent prayer. Heaven responds to sensitivity. When someone needs support but can't ask for it, God uses the eyes of intercessors to capture that need. That's why you often feel a weight or sudden urgency for someone, even without any apparent reason. Pray with intentionality, even without words. Train your eyes to always be sensitive to what the Spirit wants to reveal. Many healings and miracles begin with this kind of invisible intercession. God doesn't need words to act. He needs available hearts. And your eyes are part of that channel. You were called to be more than someone who watches. You were set apart to be someone who sees with the eyes of heaven. Keep allowing your eyes to become instruments of living prayer. Because even in silence, they have a voice before God. You now realize that the eyes of the chosen are not merely visual organs. They are mirrors of the soul, channels of the Spirit, and prophetic instruments. They weep, discern, shine, confront, attract, and pray. And all of this is a sign that you are going through a powerful awakening. These 9 signs are not coincidences. They are alerts from heaven. They show that you have been set apart, called, and marked for something beyond the ordinary. Do not deny what God is activating in you. Do not run from the sensitivity He has given you, because the world needs eyes that see beyond, and yours have been trained for that. You are a chosen one, and your eyes are portals of glory.